Millennium Industries presents Joe's Big Adventure by Joseph Barrett. Read by Joseph Barrett. Chapter 1. You find yourself in the back garden of your home with your sister Maisie. It is a peaceful day. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, and you have your friendly Indominus Rex with you as you play. However, watching you from the bushes is the evil and jealous James, king of the zombies. He wants your Indominus Rex, and he plans on taking it for himself.
Nyahahaha.
Laughed James evilly.
I will steal that toy so that I may have all the fun for myself, and no one will stop me.
James jumps suddenly from the bushes, wearing his gold crown, a checkered shirt, and blue jeans. He points to you and your Rex toy.
That is my toy. You may not have it, but if you want it, you'll have to get it back from me, so you will need to chase me.
And before you can say a word, he swoops in and grabs the toy right out of your hands. Before you can get it back, he dives back into the bushes and scurries away, back to his evil lair in Brighton, riding on the back of a massive evil spider which scuttles away.
"Oh no!"
cried Maisie.
"He has the Rex toy! He's probably taken it back to his ghost train!"
You feel determined to win back your Indominus Rex toy from the evil zombie king. You go back inside your house and go to your parents and tell them what happened. They look down to you and tell you that it will be a dangerous journey to get your Rex toy, but you tell them again that you want to get it back. They say that you need to eat before you go, and so they give you a nice cucumber sandwich for you to eat before you leave. They also give you your favourite Jurassic World jumper for you to wear to give you protection. Once you are ready to leave, your parents pull both you and your sister close and give you big warm hugs to give you courage and safety on your journey. They tell you to look after your sister and to not speak to strangers and stay on the path if you want to get there safely. They also promise you that you can have a big bowl of your favourite chocolate ice cream if you are good and return with your toy. With determination in your heart, Maisie by your side, and extra cucumber sandwiches in your bag, you set off to Brighton Pier, hopping on your green scooters and riding down the street where your house is, setting off to free your trapped toy from the clutches of the evil zombie king. Chapter 2. It doesn't take long for you and Maisie to get halfway to Brighton Pier. The area you're in is unfamiliar and strange, however, with large and foggy open fields with trees in the far distance and not a house to be seen for miles. The air is eerie and cold, and there is not a soul to be seen. You can hear crows in the distance, cawing evilly as if trying to frighten you and make you go back home. But you and Maisie carry on riding your scooters down the path, determined to get your Rex back and be a hero. As time passes, the crows stop and you begin to hear the faint noises of owls and realise that it is getting close to night time as the sky is growing darker and cloudy. In the distance, you see a light, and you decide to scooter closer towards it, besides Maisie. However, before you can reach the light, you see that it is coming from a small cottage that is off the side of the path, down a gravel road. You remember what your parents told you about leaving the path and talking to strangers, so you try to scoot past the cottage. But before you can, you realise your sister has already scooted down the gravel side path and has made her way to the door and knocked on it 3 times. You rush to her side to try and pull her back to the path, but before you can, The door creaks open slightly, and a small old lady pokes her head from around the door frame and looks down at the two of you.
Can I help you?
She asks, her voice weak and high pitch. You explain to her that you were trying to get to Brighton Pier and that it was your sister who knocked on the door. The old woman smiles.
That's all right, my darlings. Come on inside. Let me take care of you.
She says as she pulls you both into the house and closes the door. But then she locks the door behind you and turns to you. Her features begin to change, and it is all too late that you realise she is a witch.
Now, my pretties, I shall eat you for my supper.
She raises her hand, and you and Maisie are lifted into the air by her magic and placed into high chair seats with ropes that tie your legs to the chair. The witch makes her way to a bubbling cauldron she has in her fireplace and dips a spoon into the disgusting liquid, pulling out a whole tuna fish on the end of her spoon.
I shall feed you tuna to fatten you up so you can cook in my pot.
The witch cackles evilly as she brings the tuna over to you and Maisie. She pokes the head of the tuna into your mouth, trying to get you to open wide to take the whole fish, but you keep your mouth shut. The witch begins to look angry.
Very well, I shall turn you into a toad instead,
She says, and leaves the room to get her spellbook so she can turn you both into toads. While she is gone, you manage to wiggle free of a rope around your legs and hop off of the chair, going to Maisie and freeing her too. As the witch continues to look for her spellbook, you sneak out of her house, taking her smelly tuna fish and putting it in your bag in case you might need it later. Once you are outside of her house, you begin to run down the path to continue your adventure to get your Rex back from the evil zombie king at Brighton Pier. Chapter 3. You finally make it to Brighton Pier. It is exactly how you remember it on your last visit. You walk down the pier and head towards the ghost train, Maisie beside you, holding your hand. Before you go inside, you sit and eat your cucumber sandwiches to give you extra strength in case you might need it when you fight the evil James. Once they are eaten, you head inside the ride. It is very dark and very scary inside the ride, but your love for your Rex toy keeps you going forward, and you find the courage to go deeper inside with Maisie. You soon find yourself in the middle of the Zombie King's lair. It is very dark and very spooky, with some guard zombies besides the king's throne. You see your Rex toy on a pillow on a small trophy display, with James beside it, looking at it. He then notices you are in the room and decides to glare down at the two of you.
What are you doing in my lair? I did not say you may enter. Speak! What are you doing here?
Shouted James. You step forwards and point to your Rex toy, telling him that you came to collect it from him and he would not be able to stop you. James begins to grin evilly and cackles loudly.
You think it will be that easy to defeat me? I am the king of the zombies. You have no hopes of beating me, Joe.
Laughed James evilly again.
But very well, I shall offer you a challenge. Beat me in an arm wrestle and the toy will be yours.
Promised James. You agree to his challenge and step forward. The guard zombies bring in an oak table forwards for you to put your arms on in the fight. James grins and rests his big zombie arm on the table and waits for you to do the same. You smile, knowing you are stronger because of your cucumber sandwiches, and you put your arm down to meet his and hold his hands. James continues to grin arrogantly as he held your hand.
Let us begin.
James begins to push against your hand in the arm wrestling match, but then a look of horror comes across his face when he realizes he is no match for your superior strength. He pushes harder and harder against you, but he barely moves your hand. You begin to push against him, and James watches, shocked and horrid, as you slowly push his hand down against the table and win the match. You stand victorious and take the toy from the display and hold it in your arms. James howls his defeat.
No! How did you manage to best me? I am the strongest zombie in the world. This is not possible.
You decide to punish him for being mean to you, and you know just how to do it. You and Maisie get some rope and tie him to his throne. The king, still in shock from his loss, doesn't do anything to stop you. You pull the smelly tuna fish from your bag and put it in front of him, telling him that he cannot leave his throne until he eats the whole tuna.
No! Not tuna! That is a foul fish!
You and Maisie leave the defeated zombie king in his lair, with your Rex in your arms. You know he won't try and steal from you again. You go back down the path that you took to get there, passing the witch's cottage on your way home. You see she has decided to eat the evil crows instead of children, and is now making a bird stew. You go back home to your parents and show them your Rex toy. They congratulate you and give you more cuddles, telling you that you are indeed a hero. And, just like they promised, they give you a nice, big, tasty bowl of your favourite chocolate ice cream as a reward for being a hero. You think to yourself, that was a fun adventure. The end.